Welcome to this week's Brown Bag in It, the show where we're talking about communication and leadership for us entrepreneurs, small business owners, and such. And maybe even if you're in a situation where you are speaking to large groups of people. This week, I want to introduce just one co-host, CJ. CJ of Powers Production.
Just one.
Behind the scenes connection man. And I think Marty, we'll have to see how things add up, but normally Marty Jalove is on the show. I know he's going to make a little bit of a showing for sure, but we'll see if we get even more of Marty Jalove, because he's just a great screen presence, and it's not master happiness. He's not a master of happiness, but he master happiness guy.
I was going to say that's what he's doing today. He's got a project, but he wants us to say happy holidays to everybody. And we hope that, of course, you do have a great time this year.
Absolutely. So CJ, just this week, I was in the party store. I'm walking down the aisles and I see this new product. I haven't seen this type of product before. I've seen a version of it, but pretty much what it is you say to yourself, I have 20 guests and I'm going to pick up one box. I have 40 guests and I'll pick up another box. And every single thing that you need for those 20 guests is in the box. The napkin
Wow.
is there with the utensils, the cup, the right plate, everything all in one box. So it's like super easy. If you're a party planner, you just pick up the box and you take it with you. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is, pretty much what I'm going to do, but it's maybe, right? I'm going to
Sure.
get an individual fork and a knife and put it all together and for my X amount of guests. But I was like, this is pretty brilliant because somebody's put all the essentials together and really made it so that I won't forget the small details, that I can get through things a lot quicker and I can focus on the end result of my party that I want to do. Pretty cool,
Okay,
right?
so I got to ask the obvious question. Does it include certain sound files for background music as well, or is this just the physical stuff for the party itself at the table?
Oh yeah, that would be kind of cool if like it even had a track in it that
Yeah.
you could QR code it. I'll write. We should write those people. We'll tell them that we got a better idea for them.
Improvements already.
But I thought it was kind of cool because today we're talking about what's your secret sauce, all those essentials and how you frame yourself in your business and bring it all together. And it's kind of nice that instead of having to pull from 100 different sources, you can find it all in one place.
I was talking about, how do you hunt down all this right stuff to get the right mix going with a friend the other day? In fact, we were kind of jokingly saying, how people start out with a recipe and they know these are the steps you take in this day and age. Business is very similar until the market changes, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, maybe I need to alter this or make adjustments here. And sometimes we lose track of how do we follow up in a way that can be systematic and easier to do so we have more time to do what we excel at. What are your thoughts on that, Christine?
Well, I think that we're going to get into a bigger discussion of that. I am going to just take us in another direction very quickly because we're the
Okay.
Brown Bag Show and we always talk about what's in our brown bag. But I know habitually yours is always across the room. Do you actually have it in front of you today, or did you
No,
leave it
it's
all
actually, it's the, I have to get to the point where
at
I,
that?
I need more space on my desk so I could set it here, and then it's always there when our show starts.
Yeah. If Marty was here, Marty is always very creative with his brown bag in that somehow it refers to what's coming on for the rest of the show. So today in my brown bag, I couldn't fit. I know that we're going to be talking about a secret sauce, and I was thinking about what my secret sauce is. And usually, when I make food, I make the sauce is usually homemade, so it's not in a pretty bottle or anything. But
Right.
I just wanted to point out, when you have a good sauce, pretty much everything tastes wonderful to put on it. And then I had a little follow up. My follow up in my brown bag today was these new chocolate bombs. I don't know if you've had one of these before, but it's the stuff on the inside that makes them so awesome.
Wow.
You drop them in your coffee mug and you pour hot milk or hot water on it, and poof, it opens up, and you mix it up, and you have a delicious dessert. So that's my follow-up for my healthy meal, is a nice coffee bomb.
Okay, well, in my brown bag, because I had time to run across the room, is a secret bag. And inside my secret bag, you're not going to believe what's in here, but it's snow.
On the rerun, Marty will give us feedback if we even came close to his normal brilliance.
Yeah. Well, Marty will at least be here because he did put together a comedic moment today. However, he's going to try and make it back. I don't know if it'll happen or not, but certainly we have next week to see him again if he doesn't quite make it onto this one.
Yeah, and it's actually really good news for him if he doesn't make it back, because that means something else is going in a real positive direction.
So let's hope he doesn't make it.
I'm going to introduce our amazing guest because she's so generous with her time. Let me ask you, what ingredients do you need for a successful business plan? Are you willing to work and follow up? What is your secret ingredient that sets you apart from the competition? Our speaker today is a communication and business strategy expert, a certified advisor for how to fascinate, an assessment tool that identifies your communication brand. Jean is also the author of several books, and her newest book, Finding the Fortune, was released in 2017, and she has made several top-read lists. She's a co-producer of a new children's book, A Moose with a Uke, released last year, and a new book, The Confidence Package, will be released in 2022. Previous owner of a multi-million-dollar commercial insurance agency. From insurance to Mary Kay Cosmetics, she has earned the use of 10 plus cars, including 5 pink Cadillacs. I have seen those pink Cadillacs before. They are beautiful.
That's great.
He is a so-so ukulele player, a novice race car driver with a need for speed, a professional business grandmother. Let's learn as she speaks to us today about what is your secret sauce, business essentials to complete the recipe. From Pittsburgh, North Carolina, let's fasten our seatbelts and welcome Jean MacDonald. Hi, Jean.
Hey, Jean.
Hey there, gang. I want to tell you, first of all, CJ, that was a wonderful introduction with all the pictures and everything. And it reminded me of, where does Santa's reindeer stop for coffee? One of my favorite places. Starbucks, of course. I'm going to add to what you guys are doing. I've got your cues now, so I'm ready. So, secret sauce, I have none. No. I just love what I do. And with the secret sauce, follow-up was the reason this book was written. I interviewed about 1,000 people and found out between time management and doing things the right way with organization, follow-up was the lead. People really think that. They really have a hard time with follow-up.
Yeah.
That's why this book was written, and that is the biggest secret sauce today that I find that people don't do.
You know, one of the things that we struggle with sometimes, in fact, we did for this show, we have a follow-up process when we invite a guest on. And unfortunately, we had a system that Jean did not get the right information from us in time. So we were scrambling today, and it turned out that there was a glitch in our follow-up process. So who, of course, had to suffer? The queen of follow-up. So I got to ask you, Jean, is there a process or a way to do it so that you're always looking into making sure the follow-up has occurred and it didn't get lost in email or some other snafu come about?
I really feel that the end of each week, whether it be Friday before you leave your desk or Sunday before the week starts, that you need to do a to-do list. And not that the to-do list needs to be pages long,
Yeah.
but all those things you did the week before that you need to touch people's lives need to be on that list. And that can be the roadmap for the new week. Most people that don't do a to-do list, what happens is the day comes and they're chasing the day all the time.
Yeah.
What do you do to counteract that? Well, maybe make a list, a small list. Right now, I have a list sitting on my desk of all the things that I need to do, whether it be a meeting that I had yesterday and I need to write an email, or I need to send something specific. Remember, this is our integrity. If we meet somebody and say, oh, I want to give you this information, it's going to be great. Oh, I know the link. And we don't do it. And then we meet the next person and we don't do it. Now that third person says, oh, I met with them too. And, you know, I never get the information they send. What happens? Now,
yeah. Now it's a problem.
Follow-up that we need to do. So I just feel that if we have a system of every time at the end of the week, at the end of the day, we make that to-do list. So we have the roadmap for next week. And then at the end of the month, here's the kicker. I don't care how you keep your calendar or whether you have a date book, it's on paper, it's digital. Go back and review what you did from the prior month. See where there are holes. Oh, I should have given Barbara this information. Oh, I need to follow with that. Now that's at the top for the new month and will help you have more wins and victories for the next month.
That's
Yeah,
good.
you know what I'm really hearing there? For me, I mean, I'm a list person. If I'm just sitting around, I all of a sudden start writing lists. But what I don't do, and I will now, is this idea of reviewing the week before and saying, oh, who do I need to follow up with? That will be a very powerful thing to add in. I appreciate that.
And it's not just the follow-up. Think about this. At the end of the month, here we've done all this work. We've had victories. We've had challenges. We've had things that we need to do. If we can stop and review everything, now we can really say, wow, I accomplished this, or, oh, I need to change this, or let me not forget this. So what you're doing is actually giving yourself some wins, patting yourself on the back, saying, wow, oh my gosh, this is why I'm doing so well. Looking back for a review really identifies where we are, what we did, and where we had those victories.
I think that's great because so seldom does anyone pat us on the back, and let alone ourselves. So to be able to, really take a look at what did my week look like? What were the key things that I needed to plan on and say, okay, those were wins. To rack them up and say those are definite wins is a big, big plus because it encourages us, right? And when we're encouraged, we can take that next step to move back toward the new week and say, now I'm going to establish these goals for the sake of that. And as you're saying, do that for your communication as well. Now, do you use a system at all to make sure?
I do. I have, first of all, I have a product called Outstand. Okay. And I have a white board. No, not whiteboard. What's it called? They've given me a white label. Okay. And this white label is called outconnecting.com. This is a simple follow-up tool. I put all my groups in there. I know when people open it. It's an outbound email system, CRM. It is simple. I am keep it simple, sweetie gal. Because we don't have time in our lives for anything more than simple.
Yeah.
We've got kids, we've got whatever going on in life. And the simpler we can keep it, the more organized we are. So that's one piece that I use. Second of all, I use a lavender product called Circa. And it's my date book where the rings, you can move pages back and forth. So I have my to-do list in the front, and in the back it's sectioned off with meetings, projects, new books I'm writing. It could be whatever you would put as. It's got a team, if you had a team and you're coordinating your own team. It is the best way for me in paper form to keep track of everything. And when I'm on the go, that's my office in a book. Now, I use an iPad, goes with me everywhere. I am my technical ability is fair. But I have a mentor who's 25 years old that works for Apple, and he's the one that keeps me really up to date with all my equipment and how to use it. And find a mentor. I hear so many people say, oh, technology. You don't need to know technology. You need to find someone that does know. A 13-year-old is probably better than I am,
Sure. Yeah, I think we all touch technology to some extent every day. I mean, I just found out that the new hybrid car I was looking at has over 2,000 computer chips in it. 2,000. Oh. It's like we don't even realize the technology we're surrounded by these days.
Well, you say that. My husband 3 days ago just picked up his C8 2022 Stingray. Talk about technology. First of all, I'm not allowed to drive it till it has at least 500 miles, and then I'll have to be able to drop it. But I love to have a system where I can sit down in the morning. I can do my out connecting where I can go in and drop a few notes by email, put a picture in the top, make them feel good, whatever it might be.
Sure.
But here's another thing that I've done with COVID going on. For some reason, I decided to take up watercolor. And I decided I was going to do greeting cards. I have no art ability, really. And during COVID, I sent over 500 greeting cards.
Wow.
Some were funny, some were floral, some were sympathy cards, whatever. But what a difference. Well, my son, I co-authored this book with, he sends over 2,500 postcards at different holidays. And right now, his Christmas card, it's like a postcard, and in it has all kinds of Where's Waldo kind of things. Those make a difference. Think of the difference you can make. Think of the difference. Now, people go, oh, I don't have time. On my desk sits stamps and cards. It doesn't have to be 5 people, 7 people, 20 people. It could be one. Change somebody's life. I got involved in a company that's a merchandising company because of a card. They involved me with a company with 6,000 employees because of that card. What are you doing different to change your ability to reach people?
Mm-hmm.
One of my best tools, it's not sitting on my desk right now, is my chattering teeth. I have these little chattering teeth, and I put them in a box with shred, and I have a postcard with 2 chattering teeth on it, and it says, let's chat. I was working with youth, trying to help them with some business, and then I couldn't get the guy after I did the speaking engagement. So I went and bought U-line boxes. I put the chattering teeth in a U-line box with the shred, wound it up, sent him the card and said, let's chat. On the back, I said, gee, Jim, I've been trying to get a hold of you. Needless to say, he called me back. I met him at his office. The chattering teeth were on his desk. He says, everybody comes by and plays with these. I put my label on the top of them. Is that different?
That's great.
That is, for sure.
You guys are the fun people. I wish I'd known. I should have brought a brown bag here and pulled some different stuff out. Awesome. I love what you guys are doing. It's what do the elves learn in school? The alphabet.
Uh,
What do we learn from this show? All kinds of fun things. This is extraordinary to be on the show today, and I thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Jean. Well, before speaking of jokes, let's cut over. We don't want you to steal the thunder from our resident joke guy.
A few years back, I found myself in Texas on business. I was sitting at the bar at the hotel, and I saw this old cowboy sitting by himself. So I went over there and I joined him. I said, "How you doing, sir?" And he goes, "Well, I'm doing fine. Thank you very kindly." And I said, "Tell me a little bit about your business." And he goes, "Well, I kind of own a ranch, a family ranch." And I said, "You do? Wow, that's awesome. What's the name of your ranch?" And he says, "Well, that's an interesting story. I'm glad you asked that, young man. You see, it's a family ranch, so my entire family got involved in naming the ranch. Now, my oldest brother, Art, he said, let's call her the Double Bar." And I was like, "Oh, that's a pretty good name." No, but my sister, my oldest sister, well, she said, no, let's call it the Diamond, the Lucky Diamond. And as we pondered that, my brother Charlie, he was the next in line, he said, let's call her the Circle of Life. And then, of course, Mary came in and she said, let's call her the Wiggly Worm. We never did understand what that meant. Next in line was AJ, Andy they called him, and he said, let's call her the Double Star. That's got some power behind it. And then, of course, there was Marty, and he said, let's call her the Sideways Horseshoe. And little baby Joe, he came along and he said, no, let's call her the Triple X. So I'm telling you, after all these opinions and the fighting and the disagreeing, months and months in this, we finally decided to call our ranch the Double Bar, Lucky Diamond, Circle of Life, Wiggly Worm, Double Star, Sideways Horseshoe, Triple X. And I go, wow, that is a mouthful. How many cattle do you have? Well, son, none survived the branding.
Oh, good, great. I love it.
I have to say, I prepped myself ahead of time. So I saw that video earlier and I cracked up for quite some time. I thought for sure I'd be able to hold back my laughter this time, and I can't.
Wonderful.
It's just something about his delivery. But before we get back to some more questions, and I know Christine has one in particular she wants to ask you, I just want to ask you, could you speak about how people can get your book?
Okay, right now, if you go to my website, we have it on sale, and the coupon is called Holiday. If you put Holiday in there, you can get it for $12 plus shipping. That's the best way to purchase it right now. And something special will go out with that book too if you purchase it on the website. So
Chattering
it's Jean
Teeth?
Connected. Whoa. But it's a fun read.
It definitely is, and I think it's important to know too that several places in the book, it really requires interaction and some thinking on your own. It's a quick read, except when you get to those parts where you have to put in yourself. I don't move along as quickly, spending some time thinking about it, and I really value that because it makes it something to keep on the shelf as well.
Yeah, it
now,
is.
You mentioned the journal. Is there a journal that goes alongside with the book?
Yes. It's a spiral journal. It has pages where you can write your own thoughts, use it as a to-do list, and in between the pages, it has tips and tricks on how to do different follow-up things.
So it's kind of like that box that I saw in the store. It's all wrapped in one product. You can have all those things that you need to be streamlining our businesses and moving along, all the essentials in one place. If you just move through this tool and then even have the journal alongside it, I really love that idea, because sometimes my effort is pulling together resources. And this kind of cuts down on that.
Can you hold the book up?
Oh, sure. I can hold it up and to the side. But like I said, it is a wonderful read, but there's places in there. Did you see that where that you can fill in with your own material? So I am looking forward to that. I think this is kind of like a great gift for somebody who is going out into the world as well, starting their own business.
So it sounds like if people go to jeanconnects.com, there's enough information there that'll get them to the book and how they can buy it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that coupon code is right on there, holiday, and that will give them the reduced price. Absolutely.
I'm curious that what happens when I've worked with Jean before. This woman has an unprecedented amount of energy. And so at the end of her week, I am sure you have a list that is longer of people to follow up. I mean, that you probably have to prioritize or make some choices. And how do you do that? What would be your tips for when you have so much, you got to prioritize and make some choices? Is there any tips for what drives yours prioritizing?
Well, I think sometimes when you prioritize, you have to put them in A, B, and C. Let's say you go to a conference and you meet all these people. You take away the cards. One of the things I would do before I left the conference, if I had a conversation with somebody and they had an interest, I'd put an A on the card. If I met somebody and we seemed to have like things in common, but we really didn't have time to talk, I'd put a B on the card. If I just got somebody's card just because they were passing and it just didn't make any sense, I'd put a C on the card. The A's are the hot potatoes. Always follow up with those. The B's, couple weeks. The C's, probably I will toss them.
Okay.
Now, as far as my week is concerned and what I do, I'm really strategic. I'm very detailed. It's very important. I can't write a book like this and not follow up. Like I said, it's my integrity. And instead of getting overwhelmed with everything, prioritize, write it down. Even if your list is 20 or 30 items, put them in different sections. Maybe you need to buy, Levenger has all these different ways to compile lists and to-dos and all that stuff. Compile things in certain areas. I mean, if I know that I have to do a conference, a keynote, next I have to do shopping for home, I have to go do something for the kids, whatever, there's priorities in everything that I have to do, and that's time management. And I think people get overwhelmed with all that, but too many people are savers, and I'm not. I don't save everything. And that overwhelms too, I think, a lot of people. And that's a different conversation with somebody who's a really good organizer. But I just feel the follow-up is your integrity. So let me give you a short story.
Okay.
I'll never forget going to Dunkin' Donuts. I'm standing in line. Dunkin' Donuts years ago was the place to go because it wasn't Starbucks around in our area. I lived in Massachusetts at the time. I was in Mary Kay, kind of new to Mary Kay. And I'm standing there in line, and there's people in back of me and people in front of me. And the woman in front of me goes, "Oh my gosh, I should own one of these. Look at the crowd." I said, "I don't know. You have to get up at 3 a.m. to make the donuts." And she said, "Well, what do you do?" And I said, "I give women a checkup from the neck up." She goes, "What?" I said, "I'll be with Mary Kay Cosmetics." And I love to help women look good and feel good. She said, "Oh, I'm a Girl Scout leader. And we were just talking about skincare, how the girls could earn a badge. Can I have a name and number? I'd love to have you treat our girls to a skincare class." I said, "Great." And I took her name and number. Well, the gal in back of me goes, "Oh, you're with Mary Kay?" She says, "I'm a local nurse. I work at the hospital, and we're doing a Nurses Appreciation Day. I know you have a hand treatment product. I'd love for you to come in." And she gave me her name and number. Well, the guy in back of her goes, "You're with Mary Kay." I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm coming to Dunkin' Donuts every day. He says, was just talking about Mary Kay Cosmetics. He said, she loves your products. I said, oh, really? I'd love her name and number. So he gave me her name and number. He says, oh, this is going to be great. She's the local funeral director, and she says they look great on dead people. Yeah. Here's the kicker to the story. I followed up with the Girl Scout leader. She put me in front of 10 kids with all their moms, because I wouldn't do it without their moms being there. She became a new consultant. The gal back of me was a nurse, asked if she could do this part-time. She became a consultant. The guy, I went to see his sister. She bought $2,000 worth of products for all her clients. And she wanted to send me to all the funerals of parlors around the state, around the area. But the key to that was I did all that follow-up, and we earned our first pink Cadillac. Now, it took many months, but no follow-up, no results.
Ooh, yeah.
And that story is in Jack Canfield's latest book on success principles, because it's not just networking, but it's the relationships we build to give us the result we're looking for. What is it that you want from your business, CJ? We're doing this fabulous program. What's next? Same with Christine, working with the youth. What do we want? What is our follow-up that's going to give us the success?
That's a lot I mean, you just blew my mind to begin with. The fact is, I've never seen follow-up as a relationship building exercise, and clearly it is. But what I saw it as is the drudgery to take care of all the details from the conversation. But the bottom line is, it really is a relationship builder. As you talked earlier about sending out those chattering teeth, and it became a topic for everybody in that office. How we follow up is probably just as important as to, the follow-up in of itself. Is there anything you can suggest as far as how we can maybe brand our follow-up or do it in a way where it's memorable?
Absolutely. First of all, I have an assessment tool called How to Fascinate. This tool is 28 questions. It takes about 7 minutes. It helps you identify what makes you different and what you do best. From there, you can now develop a fabulous bio, a LinkedIn profile, and it really sets you apart from your competition. That's what you want. You can get up in a network meeting and you can say you're a coach, which I never use, or you can say you're a communication and business strategist. But here's my tagline. I pioneer ideas with cutting edge strategy to assist individuals to grow and win. That's different from saying, oh, I'm a coach and I'll change your life. Or, oh my gosh, if you work with me, I'll help you with your leadership skills. We've all heard that. Why not be different?
Yeah, stating the benefit like that,
Yeah,
they know what's in it for them.
And I work with hundreds of people all over the country with this product. And it really identifies how you're going to set yourself apart. What sets your program apart? I love what you do. Now, how do we really maximize that through LinkedIn, through Facebook, through your bio, through a website that's going to bring the people to your program instead of somebody else? Outsmart that competition.
There you go.
How if somebody wants to connect with you about that product? At Jean Connects, right? Is where they would go for that? Okay, fascinating.
So Jean Connects /Fascinate. But when you go to Jean Connects, it's right there and you'll be able to find it. And I will say, being on here today, if anybody, including yourselves, want to take that Fascinate assessment, Normally, I charge $275 with the overviews, helping you write your bios, do all the things like that. Hard copy workbook, which you'll use again and again, I will do it for $197.
Wow.
That will include the assessment, the overviews, 2 sessions, and it's outstanding.
Awesome.
Nice
Awesome.
holiday
Thanks for
supply.
that. You heard it here. Well, Jean, thank you so much for giving us your time today. And I can tell you from personal experience, this is just a tiny bit of Jean has so much to share, and it's really amazing. She does it in such a way that you're almost like, that was there all along, and she really uncovered it and brought it up. So it's not work. It really feels very, very good. So thank you, Jean, for sharing yourself and your time and your wisdom with us today.
You're so welcome. Thank you very much, and happy holidays. I really appreciate it. And, when I leave here, I just want you to know that what do grapes sing for Christmas? 'Tis the season to be jelly. You guys were all full of puns, and I needed to end it like that. So have a great holiday.
I love puns.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye, Jean.
Bye.
Oh, wow. What talking about the energy and the knowledge that we need. Let's just tap her.
She's an amazing lady. She really is. And always creative ways to approach things. You can think that you're in a barren desert, and she's very, very good at figuring out what's already there that you could be working with and doing stuff with. So it's really a strength of her. So I would go grab one of these books, Finding the Fortune, and it sounds like there's another book coming out soon for us to look forward to.
Yeah, and it's all practical. That's the part that I was so amazed at during our talk here today, is that not only is it a follow-up a good tool for business purposes, but it's great for building relationships. And the steps that she took in her follow-up, whether it was something that was unique or something that differentiated you from the competition, anything like that based on who you are or your services represent, it sounds like that's the real way to make follow-up something that everyone enjoys instead of being like inundated by quote follow-up. I mean, just so you know, I had a situation the other day where a guy said that he had a free book that offered this specific information that I was looking for. It was unique information. I was surprised I found someone that actually had it. And his follow-up is all automated to the point where there's no personality in it. It's dry. And I've been contacted 32 times in 3 weeks. And I'm like, dude, take me off your list. Even if your book, which I haven't finished reading, this free booklet, even if it's excellent, I would never come to you at this point because you're badgering me. So I like Jean's approach, where it's kind of a human relational effort based on who you uniquely are.
Yeah, you know what I'm hearing from what you just said too, and wondering is how much more valuable would follow-up be if it is this meaningful follow-up over a few people? Because remember, she talked about prioritizing and just saying, hey, sometimes everybody's not somebody you want to follow up with.
Yeah.
Versus this person who probably had 100% follow-up, but he got your attention, but in the wrong way. Like, then you're kind of like, you got my attention, goodbye. Now I know I need to say goodbye.
Yeah, and I think that's so true. When she said the A, B, and the C, when she got the C and said, I probably won't even, deal with those people. At first I was like, oh, that's not a good choice. But the more I thought about it, because of the examples she was giving, I'm like, it is a good choice. Why should we waste our time with people we can't help?
Or weren't even looking for it anyway. So she focused on the quality leads. Not saying that those C people were not important, but that maybe that wasn't their time for connection. We can gentle it up. We can make it softer.
No, that's true, though. I mean, that is another angle on that same principle. It just amazed me because I was never expecting to hear that. But it's real. It's true. It's what we all face as leaders. But our time is up. So I think it's time to say, Marty, I'm counting on the fact that your meeting went really well. And we'll see you next week, Marty. Thank you again to Jean today. Folks, have a great day.